Well, China has already in the last years increased its influence and its footprint in Africa. It has invested a lot in Africa, both airports, railways and ports. It is investing in capital infrastructure, and as such this investment is welcome and is a good thing for Africa because it helps develop the continent. Now at the same time there has been a number of serious concerns about the kind of investment and about the kind of conditionality that is attached, the strings that are attached to this investment. And so people, I think, increasingly will worry about unsolicited influence on the domestic politics that this kind of money flow will have. But I think overall the truth is it has been a positive. And I would say going forward, China's economy is growing, and so I would expect China to actually continue playing a big role in Africa and playing a bigger role than it does currently. Well, I mean, of course, the European Union and the European countries have a very long history in Africa and have a very established relations with African countries. The history was not always easy, but now it is what it is, and there is very close links. Now there is a new player coming in with very significant resources that could soon be bigger than those of the European countries and the European Union. So I think, yes, it will shake the relation and will change the relations. But I think overall, from a pure economic point of view, there is enough need for foreign investments. So if we work smartly together, it can be actually a win-win for everybody, as the Chinese would say. Well, I think really the big thing and the big issue we need to be thinking about is the big geopolitical confrontation between the United States and China, and both countries increasingly want to exercise influence in Africa. And the European Union hasn't yet really come up with a concept of how it shapes its own influence in Africa. And so I think, in a sense, this is also an opportunity because as the multilateral system breaks down, there is more scope for bilateral relations, including between Africa and the European Union. And so my suspicion is that Africa and Europe should be able to work more together, but again, I think we need to be aware that China has its own very strong geopolitical motives, and some of these motives are actually at the expense of some African societies and African economies. And the US is also coming with very strong geopolitical motives, and that makes it quite difficult for the European Union and African countries to develop a good relation going forward.